I can still feel the weight of that night pressing down on my chest, even after all these years. The memories are etched into my mind like a nightmare that refuses to fade. It was the fall of 1997, and I was a young, eager journalist hungry for a story that would make my name known across the country. Little did I know, I was about to stumble upon a horror that would shake me to my very core. The assignment seemed simple enough at first, a feature on the history of an abandoned asylum that had once loomed on the outskirts of a small, nondescript town. The locals whispered tales of madness, experimentation, and unspeakable cruelty that had taken place within those decaying walls. It was a goldmine of a story, or so I thought. As I drove into the town, the atmosphere grew noticeably somber. The air was thick with a sense of unease, as if the very earth remembered the horrors that had transpired. The asylum itself was a grim monument to a dark past, its towering spires and broken windows casting long shadows that seemed to reach out like skeletal fingers. I spent days poring over old records, interviewing the few remaining townspeople who were willing to talk. Their eyes held a haunted look, and their voices trembled as they recounted stories of tormented souls and whispered screams that echoed through the night. But one name, in particular, surfaced time and time again: Dr. Nathaniel Harkin. Dr. Harkin was the head psychiatrist at the asylum, a man whose twisted experiments were said to have pushed the boundaries of morality and sanity. He became my obsession, and the more I dug, the more unsettling the details became. Patients subjected to lobotomies, gruesome surgeries, and mind-altering treatments that left them mere shells of their former selves. The breakthrough came when I discovered an old forgotten journal tucked away in the back of an abandoned building. Its pages were yellowed with age, the handwriting barely legible, but the horrors it revealed were crystal clear. Dr. Harkin's words chronicled his descent into madness, his obsession with unlocking the secrets of the human mind, and the chilling glee he took in the suffering of his patients. Armed with this newfound knowledge, I delved deeper into the asylum, exploring its decaying corridors and crumbling chambers. The air was heavy with the stench of decay, and every step seemed to echo with the agonized cries of the past. It was as if the very walls held the memories of the tormented souls that had been trapped within. One evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon, casting long shadows through the broken windows, I stumbled upon a hidden chamber deep within the asylum. It was a room of horrors, a makeshift operating theatre where Dr. Harkin had conducted his most heinous experiments. Rusty surgical tools lay scattered on the blood-stained floor, and crude diagrams of the human brain adorned the walls. As I gazed upon the scene, a shiver ran down my spine. I could almost hear the echo of Dr. Harkin's maniacal laughter, his presence lingering like a malevolent ghost. But my fear was quickly replaced by a burning determination. I needed to expose the truth, to shed light on the darkness that had festered within these walls. Late one night, as I hunched over my typewriter in a dimly lit room, the temperature seemed to plummet. I could see my breath in the air, and an icy chill gripped my heart. A voice, a sinister whisper, seemed to fill the room, and the words flowed from my fingers onto the page without conscious thought. The journal, Dr. Harkin's journal, seemed to have a hold over me, compelling me to recount his twisted tale. Hours turned into days, and I became consumed by my writing, my obsession mirroring that of the mad doctor himself. Sleep became a distant memory, and my mind felt like it was unraveling, teetering on the brink of sanity. I could feel a presence, an otherworldly force looming over me, its presence suffocating and malevolent. And then, on the eve of Halloween, as the clock struck midnight, a deafening silence fell over the room. The whispering ceased, the air grew still, and a sense of dread washed over me like a tidal wave. I turned to face the typewriter, and there, on the page before me, were words that I had not written. A chilling confession from Dr. Nathaniel Harkin himself. "Welcome to my domain," the words seemed to taunt, as if Dr. Harkin's very essence had merged with my own. Panic clawed at my chest, and I stumbled back, knocking over the lamp and plunging the room into darkness. But even in the blackness, I could feel his presence, his icy fingers wrapping around my mind, his madness seeping into my soul. I fled the room, desperate to escape the grip of the mad doctor's influence. But the asylum itself seemed to conspire against me, its corridors shifting and twisting like a labyrinth designed to ensnare. The walls seemed to pulse with a sickly glow, and I could hear the faint echoes of the past tortured screams, maniacal laughter, and the desperate cries of the forgotten. I don't know how long I wandered those cursed halls, my mind a haze of terror and confusion. But then, just as suddenly as it had begun, the nightmare ended. I stumbled out of the asylum, my lungs gasping for air, my heart pounding like a drum. The first light of dawn painted the sky in shades of pink and gold, banishing the darkness that had held me captive. I never returned to that town, to that asylum of horrors. The story that had consumed me remained unfinished, but I couldn't bear to relive the terror that had gripped me. I buried the journal, the typewriter, and the memories deep within my mind, vowing to leave the past behind. But even now, as I sit by this campfire and share my tale, I can feel Dr. Harkin's presence lingering, his malevolent gaze fixed upon me. The horrors of that night will forever haunt me, a reminder that some truths are better left buried, some stories better left untold. And as the wind howls through the trees and the flames dance in the darkness, I can't help but wonder what other horrors lie hidden in the shadows, waiting to be unearthed.